Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you doing today, Carol?
I am great, Deborah. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. How is the weather there? We are having all this rain.
Same here. I'm telling you, every morning I get up and I'm like, I'm going to go walk early, and then it may be raining, and then 2 hours later it's not raining. So we've had our share of it as well. So yeah. But anyway, I guess come June or July and August, we'll be wishing for some of this rain.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Build Your Best Life. So happy that you decided to take time out of your busy schedule to join us today. Again, this is Build Your Best Life. My name is Deborah Smith, and this platform is designed to assist high school age and young adult males as they follow my basic principles to help them to overcome obstacles with their personal lives as well as those that they face from society, to build their best lives, because I believe it is better to train early rather than have to fix later.
Absolutely, Deborah. I totally agree that it is better for us to begin to train our young people now, because fixing things, fixing things after they're done is just very difficult. Even if it's fixing mindsets, right? It's kind
Right.
of like it's better to train them now.
Yeah.
But last month we had such a great discussion, and we started talking about those things in your book that you talk about. Never say never. And so, if you missed it last week, if you missed Deborah and Carol's coffee chat last month, which was May 13th, you can find the video by going to our website or going to Deborah's website and clicking on, is that right, Deborah? Facebook
Yes.
or YouTube, and it's episode 151.
Yes.
So you can find that our conversation last month on looking on YouTube and Facebook for episode 151. Well, like I said, we had such a great discussion talking about those things that you say never, and we discussed how we limit our lives when we place limits on your income. I'll never make those six figures, right? And then what you'll eat. I'll never eat anything, I think you said, that I can't even pronounce, right? And the modes of transportation, also even selecting, looking at people that could be in our lives, and we've excluded them or limited them to religion and races, and like you said, transportation. I'll never fly on an airplane. So what if what if God is calling you to the world? There are some places we can't get to by car, by car for sure. So we have to consider other modes of transportation. But tonight we're going to be discussing how lives are limited when we place limitations on education, or we put education in this neat little box, and we think that education means this one and only thing. But you talked about never say never. Why do people think people have limited themselves? Why do you think people have limited themselves when it comes to colleges, and may not be for everyone? I think that's one that we've talked about, or we have to think about. College may not be for everyone, but we've limited ourselves thinking that if I don't go to college, I can't build my best life. So what did you have on that one, Deborah?
Well, first of all, I think they need to consider what is education.
Okay.
Education just doesn't mean college. Education is a gradual process whereby you can learn positive things to change your life and your behavior. Or it's a process of acquiring knowledge through studying and getting that knowledge, and you get instruction. You can do self-instruction. You can get instruction from other people, but it's something or some article, so it can be a book, a video, or whatever that you are looking at that is imparting information to you. So it's not all just about college. But you're just limiting yourself when you say, that's not for me. I went to high school, I'm done.
That's enough of that education. But I love that that's what you're saying, that sometimes you can become, you can open up a book and begin to find instructions and things that can change your life. So I'm glad you're kind of opening up our thought process on what education is all about, because you're right. Everyone is not called or will not go to college, but you can still, like you say, stay active. It's just, understand what education means. It's a process. And so with process with instructions. So we have to begin to help our young people realize that education, collegiate level education, is not the only way that we can get educated. And I don't know about you, but when the plumber comes to my house and he hasn't been to a 4-year college and he's making a lot of money, so that's another way and another profession that we have to, help students understand and help young people understand. Your hands can be a gift as well. So, well, thanks for that explanation about education. Education is not defined as earning a college degree. So let's break that down a little bit more, because you gave us what education simply looks like, and not always in a facility that's a higher education facility. So let's look at education is not defined as earning a degree. So can you break that down for us? And you mentioned formal and non-formal education. So can you talk about the formal part of education?
Okay, so when you're talking about formal education, then that's where you have the instructors, you have a formal process where they had to get accreditation in order to teach a particular subject. And this is whether it's in a high school or private school or college or university. They can't just say, well, I'm Dr. Smith and this is what I'm going to teach. They have to ensure that what they're teaching has been approved for certain levels of individuals, and then certain people with certain degrees have to teach certain levels. So someone with a master's degree would not be able to teach PhD classes.
Right.
So, so when you talk about instructors and the syllabus and these are dynamics, you have modules for each week of a semester in college, or you have the 9 weeks or 6 weeks in high school and elementary school. All these are formal education. But there are other ways to learn. You can learn on your own. You can be self-taught. I did not decide that I wanted to work on my college degree until I'm not going to even say what age. But I was a person that, people learn differently. But I was always a person that was not afraid to try different things. So like in the 90s school, in the 90s when our department got the first computer, I went in there and I knew nothing about computers or whatever, but I was one that went in there and started playing around with it. I was like, well, the thing not going to blow up or explode. I worked with it and I learned how to write like simple language to it. I could get it to print and all this stuff. So I would self-teach myself what I could. And I moved up in the company, so I was doing really well. But as I, gravitated upward, I could see where probably some of that formal education would be beneficial to me where I was trying to go. So I wanted to be in leadership or whatever. So, in order to do that, there was some more specific education that I needed to get.
I'm glad that you shared with us, even though you didn't tell us how long ago it was that you decided to go back to school. But interesting that we're actually now being able, after the pandemic, to see and have graduations going on. And I saw recently where someone who was 96 years old was getting her college degree. So that means that we cannot even limit it ourselves. And like you were saying, sometimes we don't go to school right out of high school, because I didn't either. But it's still an opportunity for you to, if that's something you want to pursue as far as a formal education, I don't think it's never too late to get that done. So I'm glad you shared that with them. And of course, like you said, sometimes you can just have that self-taught mentality. And if it's something you really want to know, you just have to really discipline. I think that's what you did. You discipline yourself to find out. And like you said, you found out the computer wasn't going to blow up because you was in there exploring things with it. So that's an opportunity where you have to take advantage of things that you can be self-taught in as well. So do you agree, Deborah, that college is not for everyone? Is not for everyone. Why do you what do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree that college is not for everyone because, for one, everyone doesn't learn the same.
Mm-hmm.
And, some people may have had to struggle in order to get the high school. They said, hey, I got my high school diploma, I'm good. But we don't know if they really had to struggle. Because, like some people that they made a C, that was like, oh my goodness, everybody in the neighborhood was running around because that was something that they really earned. Well, college is not for everyone. But there are, just like Kara mentioned earlier about the plumber. I mean, plumbers, electricians, construction workers, they have to have certification.
Okay.
Have license. However, that's not college, but you are learning to do things with your hands, and you can be just as much or more as someone with a college degree, because as you learn these trades, it's just like someone in college and working in corporate America, you move up. So as a plumber, you can move up. And I think they start out as journeyman and then get licensed, certified. And so they have that license. And then, if you're working for a company, they may put you over a crew. And they learn enough, save enough that you can start your own business.
Wow.
So it is nothing wrong with not trying to get that bachelor's or master's degree, but to go into certification. I mean, some people go into the military. That's wonderful as well, because you might get into the military and decide, I think I do want to get a college degree. Then you have funds. It's going to be free because the military will help you pay for your college degree. So that's excellent as well. You have people that they decide they want to be merchant seamen. So they go out for so many months, and that's the way we get our imports and exports. And that pays a lot of money. So no, college is not for everyone. No one should talk down to anyone because they don't have a college degree. But is that you do need to, God gave us all different type of talents. So whatever that is, you do need to work at what you have and try to be the best that you can. If he wants you to be a janitor, you need to be the best janitor in the whole world. Hey, I'm cleaning the desk. When they
say take ownership in being a janitor, right?
Right.
And so, that is really good for you to share with them, because it, like you said, the non-formal and the formal education, and to even just share with them about, certification. You can get certified, and that's still a certificate, or even being licensed as well, because that is still an opportunity for you to get, that's still getting educated, because you're getting educated in perhaps something that you really know or you really like and want to pursue that as well. So we can't discount education because it doesn't come in this little box, as you said, this formal box that everybody got to go to a 4-year college. Everybody got to go get a degree or go get a 2-year degree. Everyone does not have to do that in order to be successful. But you have to remember, right, that you want to do some higher level of education whether, like you said, whether it's you taking it upon yourself to read a book, or you then deciding you want to get licensed or get certified, but it's still not looking at education and holding you in that particular box.
But you know what? One thing though, do want to add that
Okay.
happens that people overlook is that, you know, they have been playing pee-wee football their entire lives, and you know, I'm the sports jock and I know I'm going to the pros, and they may get that. So they're in college, they go to freshman year, sophomore year, and then they get drafted in the junior, senior year, and they like, oh, hey, I'm there, I have made it. I don't need college. Please, please, please. On those down, when the seasons are down, whatever sports you go in, work on that degree. Work on that degree online, because I was reading, doing some research on retirement, and it came up that there are so many of our professional athletes that are broke or can be homeless because they do have the skills, but what happens, you're not the only one with that skill. So a couple things can happen. Either you get injured, or there's someone that can play better than you, and they get the spot and you don't. So you go to another team and the same thing may happen to you. Now, so if you're someone and you have, you got the skills, you are great. You're going to be the next Brady. And you get this big contract. So, you get, oh, hey, I know I have made it. You get this big, huge mansion with pool, tennis court, separate cars. Yeah, you just get by everything. Buy a home for your mom, your dad. You don't have to stay with mom if you want to. You can have your own too. All these cars that you can't drive. Got 10 cars, you can't drive them. You get hurt. They have not did anything. They have not managed their finances, and they end up broke. And it was actually, I just started watching Dateline probably last year. I don't know what I thought Dateline was, but it's about people that were murdered and finding whoever did it. And I cannot right now remember the guy's name, but it was a basketball player. He had got a big contract, and he was murdered, and they didn't know who murdered him. They found him like in the woods, but they had his. He was running and he had dialed 911, so they knew someone was after him. But the thing was, it was like, well, they don't know who may have killed him. Did his wife have him killed, or about drugs? Well, he got money. Why would they do? Why would it be about drugs? Only to come to find out, he was one of these that had bought this lavish home. He was broke. He didn't have anything. So. It's just important that you get a good financial advisor and that you save some money. Don't spend everything that you get, regardless of what. If you get a trade, in sports or whatever, you need to manage your money.
Manage your money. Right. That is so true. And that is great information, because I'm an ex-NFL player mom, and he had to go back to school and get his degree. And so I told my son, the big contracts, that like you say, sports, that's a short-lived career. Right. And you do have to do planning in order for life, because, you might be 20, 21 when you get there. But like you said, you may not last but 5 years. And let's not even mention if you get injured, like you just said, and you go or somebody comes in, because every year they're drafting somebody. Right. And they might be better than you. So that could be the end of your career. So you have to really think outside of what's going on right then. And like you said, get an education, simply, regardless of what formal or not non-formal, but get an education, because no one can take that from you. No one at all. So that is great advice. And so let's move on a little bit here. In your book, Build Your Best Life, you say that you should always have a desire to learn. And let's just talk about the desire to learn first, and then we'll go into another part of this. But we should always have a desire to learn. Why is that important?
Because I mean, you want to be self-disciplined. You want to be able to do. I would think most people would want to be able to do for yourselves, not depend on anybody else. You know, even if you are married or whatever, live with a significant other, you should want to be able to be responsible for yourself. So you should have a desire to always want to be your best in every phase of your life. So, you know, who wants to be a dummy? You know, like I used to say, you know, kids have this thing when they get like in middle school, it's not to be smart. So I find my son like, son, what's wrong? What's going on with your grades? Okay, you doing your work. I'm making sure he does his work, but he wasn't turning it in. I said,
wow.
Hold up. Don't ever let anybody make you dummy yourself down. Don't dummy down anyone. You know? And you know, if you can, you know, it's just like someone that can speak proper English, they use English language correctly. When you get around your friends, you want to use what is it, Ebonics?
Ebonics.
Don't let nobody dummy you down to be talking like speak like you're supposed to speak. You speak like that at home. You know, don't let anybody dummy you down. So you have to have that desire. You have to care about yourself to want to be the best that you can be. You know, no one should have to push you.
Right.
You know, and there's so many people that, just as many people that want to see you do well, there's just as that many people that don't want to see you make it. They want to see you fail. So you should want to be able to show them, hey, you know, just because my mom didn't make it, my grandparents didn't make it, they only had 6th grade education, 9th grade education, I can do better. I have more opportunities. They struggled so that I can be better. So why am I going to let everybody down? You know, and just not have a desire. I just want to be lackadaisical and just, you know, whatever.
Just, yeah. And you have to have that desire. And like you said, it has to be personal for that person. But even what you're saying, don't let anybody dummy you down because you're trying to fit in. I think you talk about that too, trying to fit in, to get in, you know, but sometimes you have to set the standards for yourself. And even like you saying, even if your parents didn't get that, there's an opportunity available for you now. That, like you said, some parents didn't have that opportunity, and now you have to take advantage of every opportunity because the education is out there, the opportunities are out there. You just have to be, like you said, you got to have the desire to reach out and stretch and want that, because nobody can want it for you. You got to want it for yourself, right?
Yes, definitely.
Well, that's great on desire, Deborah, because like you were saying, you have to want it for yourself. It becomes very, very personal. It's personal. And so if no one wants it for you, you got to want it for yourself. But you also talked about desire to learn more. And now you said, make yourself marketable. How does that look as a young person?
Well, you know, we have CPAs, we have all types of professionals. We have people on jobs, they get supervisors, they get into management. But you have to want to be marketable. What do I mean by marketable? Okay, so Carol and I are peers. We are on the job and we do the exact same thing. Now, there are positions that are higher. So do I want to stay where I am, or do I want to go as far as I can? You know, they talk about the glass ceiling. So I can't not just sit there and, you know, say, well, I get to work on time. I do my work while I'm here. I don't play around. And, you know, I make all my deadlines or whatever. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, that's what I get paid for. I'm not making myself marketable. That's what I get paid for, to come and do a job. To make myself marketable, I got to make it where somebody else can see the potential in me. If a promotion comes up, is Deborah, you know, there's Deborah and there's Carol, you know, are either one of them going above and beyond?
Mm-hmm.
Is one of them, showing us that they have these great problem solving skills? Is
Mm-hmm.
one of them great in critical thinking? Is one of them great at organization? Do they try to come up with different initiatives on their sales, or do they just sit there and do what's supposed to be in that little box for them? So
And that's all.
yeah. And you talk about, I will never make six figures, and you sit there and just talk about, okay, my job description say I'm supposed to type 5 letters a day. That's all I'm gonna type. So you not gonna make those 6 figures.
Never want to go beyond, huh?
Yeah, you say 5, I'm gonna try to do 10. And I'm gonna try to make sure everything's spelled correctly. I didn't mess up anything. I'm gonna be checking, double checking, and triple checking. That's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
That was the way, the reason why I was able to move up, because my parents did ask me when I graduated, did I want to go to college? I said no.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to work so I can help y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And but my mom had taught me really good work ethics. I guess. So that I just worked hard, and that was why I continued to move up. And I can say probably maybe I worked at my company for, not my company, but I worked at that company for 41 years. But I think I only applied for one job. And I probably had maybe 6 or 7 jobs, but I was always just promoted. It wasn't that I applied for them, because I did not just sit and do. I made myself marketable. Okay, we put Pepper on this job because I know she's gonna, whatever it takes for her to learn what she needs to do, she's gonna do it. She's gonna be there. We can count on her. And so, that's when we talk about credibility and all of that. All those things are important, know.
And like you were saying too, marketable, not just always saying what you can do, but you made yourself stand out and stand up where people could see what you were doing. Those people saw that in you and saw that you were able to do things without always being told. And I love what you said too about the fact that sometimes you got to get to work early, and sometimes you have to stay late. They say if you always sitting there watching the clock when it's time to go, people notice that at 5 o'clock you clocking out at 5 o'clock, and that's it. Because sometimes you do have to. If you want to move up, or if you want to be the best person, you got to be willing to, like you say, make yourself marketable. And it is not always about what you say you do. It's about your potential, and it's about, what you brought to the table, what people can see that you're doing, because you don't ever know who's really watching you, right?
Right.
So you got to always be doing the right thing, and not just when the boss come around, you get real busy. And then after that, you kind of go back to being real lax and not really caring about that. And also you said something else about, you checked your work and you rechecked it. So it was like you had to be satisfied with what you were producing. And that may not mean that somebody else got to come along and check you, because you that's that desire. You want to self-check. You want to present the very best work ethics and present the very best to the company. So all of that, I can see how that caused you to move up. And I love that you say you never applied but for one job, but you were able to move up based on your marketability, based upon you presenting yourself, based upon you having great work ethics that was passed down to you from your parents. So those are all things that all of us need to make sure that we are implementing. And if you're not doing that, we want to encourage the young people to start doing that, because that's so important. But Deborah, also explain a little bit about making your value expendable. Making your value expendable.
Well, a lot of times you fill out a resume and you go and you get this job, and it says that, let's just see, your job is customer service. And so you are handling calls from people that just purchase coverage. So if they have any questions, you want to make sure that they have the right card or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody trains you, it's always about somebody, usually someone is assigned to train you.
Mm-hmm.
So, that can be a headache, but, because sometimes people don't want you to learn. This is the craziest thing I ever seen, but a lot of people, they don't want you to learn because
Wow.
they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So they're afraid of competition.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are just getting by, and
Mm-hmm.
because of technology, programs are written. So what
Mm-hmm.
happens to a lot of people, they can enter information into computers and get stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what they're doing.
Mm.
And so if that machine were to break and they said, "Oh, I need to know my effective date," they'd be like,
What you talking about?
how to get that? So making yourself expendable is like, I'll just say one of my family members. They got a job,
Mm-hmm.
and they were put on that job, and it was like, do it. And this job that they have is safety first. So it's very important that no mistakes are made or anything.
Oh, wow.
Just left them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, so me and the wife, we trying to assist, and we like, okay, do they have a SOP? SOP, yeah, like a standard operating procedure. Do they have a manual like that you could use? No. Where's the person that's supposed to train you? He sits there, but a couple of times he allowed him to make some very bad mistakes.
Wow.
And he got into a lot of trouble. I said, let me tell you something. You won't have to. Everything they do tell you, write it down.
Absolutely.
But once you get it, so it was like when they first told him, it was like, you got to follow 1 through 10, you got to do it. And I'm like, because from what I'm hearing, yeah, you have to follow 1 through 10, but also you got to use this. You got to use some critical thinking. You got to do some problem solving. You got to do all of that. Now, why they got to train you? You listen. You write everything down. So once you are able to do it, you can do it with your eyes closed. If they call you at 2 o'clock in the morning, you sleep, you wake up, you say, yeah, this is what you need. This is the next step. Write a procedure manual. You show them you're expendable, because not only can you do that job, you can explain it from A to Z. You had enough initiative to write a manual so the next person wouldn't have to go through what you went through. So you do things that, you don't just go on a job and, if you just go in to get a paycheck, fine. But, you should one day want to retire. So you should be trying to have a career. So you have to learn things and do different things. So, what are some things that you could come up with? I was always making some kind of form or doing something. But you have to have initiative to do things. Because, you just sit there. Because I don't understand how somebody actually goes on a job. Oh, what did you do today? Child, we didn't have much to do. I just sat. If I didn't have anything to do, it would be like I was there for 20 hours. How could you just sit there?
That's
but
just.
You just got to make yourself worth, worth who you are. That's Carol Crockett. She was with the school system for 35 years. We were so sad to see her go. I know it was her time.
Right.
But when she was there, you could see that she cared for the children.
Right.
They're just getting a paycheck.
Right.
She was making sure that they had the supplies they needed. They had the books they needed. Everything was done timely. She was keeping the parents engaged. She was communicating. She was just excellent in what she did. You weren't a teacher, you was an educator.
Exactly.
You have to make yourself expendable. No, girl, you think you can stay another couple of 5 years?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I was like, not this time. But anyway, yeah. But you're absolutely right. If it's only just a job, that's when we kind of treat it like that. But like you were saying, if we treat it like I've been hired here, it's a career. It may not be a career that I'm going to have forever, but while I'm here, I'm going to take advantage of what I can do to, to even help myself move up, as well as be able to help somebody else. But, like you were saying too, sometimes we have to take the initiative. When people are training you, you got to, this is what I always say, your learning style. And if you don't, you really need to know what your learning style is. And if some people got those memories that they can remember things, but some people do not. And when you're in a new situation, you may not remember every single thing. So as you said, write it down and make sure that you're writing it down enough for you to know what it means in order for you to be able to move on to the next thing. Or I love what you said. You're writing it down. You may be writing an operational book for the next person. So you're not just sitting there, like you say, 20 hours and say doing nothing. You are really making yourself expendable, like in order for them to want you to stay and not want you to leave, right?
Hurry up and leave.
Hurry up and go. Why what took so long, right? But these have been great questions, Deborah, for you to explain to our young people how they need to have a desire to even separate the difference between formal and non-formal education, and even to remind them everyone does not have to have a college education. But like you were saying, you got to be self-motivated. You want to be able to push yourself. If you're going to compete, you ought to be competing with your best self in order for you to be the best person you want to be. Well, Deborah, there was one particular quote that you had in your book that I absolutely loved, and I just want to share that, and I want you to talk about it some too. But you said education is not only a ladder of opportunity, but it is also an investment in our future. And that's by Ed Markey. Education is not only a ladder of opportunity, but it is also an investment in our future. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. I saw that quote and I just thought that was just so relevant because, you can have the opportunity to do something and you're doing it, but how far do you want to go? And then I thought about Jack and the Beanstalk, that beanstalk just went straight up. And, Jack, when he looked up, it went further than he could see because it passed the sky. So what if he had just said, well, I'm just going to go as far as everybody else can see, it's the clouds. What would he have gotten?
Right.
He had to keep going to surpass that. So you have to go above and beyond where you can see. Learn, and then learn some more. You just don't stop learning. You can learn something every day. As an example, and I don't learn all the words, but I get word thirst and word genius. But every day they give you a new word, how to spell it, how to pronounce it, what does it mean. So you can learn new words when you read, even if it's what is it? Fictional book. You can learn some things because people put very interesting information into their books. I love the word crossword puzzles. So, well, why do you do that? Well, it relaxes me for one, but you can learn so much. You learn words, different words mean different things. So you can always learn, but you should always want to learn. And I hate to keep saying what I did, but I only know what I did.
That's all.
But because when I was at work, you have different categories on your performance review. But one thing, self, what is it? It's not self-learning, but it's self-development.
Self-development, okay.
You can just sit there and only try to learn what is has to do with your job. You want to develop yourself. You want to be better. So that critical thinking, that problem solving, all of that stuff just doesn't jump in your lap. They have workshops for that kind of thing. And on most jobs, if they don't have learning and development department, they do bring people into the department, or they will send employees out. You should want to sign up and learn. As long as somebody is teaching you something, especially when you can get it for nothing.
Right.
You need to sign up. That's why I can't understand why it's so many people not on Build Your Best Life, that they're saying, hey, you got too many people, because this is free information. Information that can take you so far in life that people should want to get it. You know, hey, they have posts on there that's giving information. They have videos. They have teachers and preachers and coaches, pastors, all these people coming on and providing information, and it's free.
Did you say free?
Free.
Free. Let's emphasize free.
Free, you know?
Right.
You know, because you can pay for things, and I don't mind paying for things, but, you know, in life, there's some things, you know, when I was working, like I was in Toastmasters, my company paid for that because I was developing myself. I was improving my communication skills. So my company was glad to pay for that. I'd still take Toastmasters because I love it. You learn communication skills, and that is not only speaking, but that's listening, how to listen as well. And, you know, it's the nonverbals, it's the elevator talk. You learn a lot. You get to meet people. So it's excellent. So I pay. It's not that much money, but it is worth it. So, you know, what can you do to learn? Read. Take trips, go to the art museum, just do different things to learn. You know, if you keep, you know, it's just like your body. If you sit all the time, your joints get stiff, and you know, you got to stretch when you get up. If you don't use this, guess what? It gets out of focus and fuzzy, and you're like, okay, now, shoot, when my child's birthday? Things begin to get fuzzy.
Yes. And who is that said, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. It certainly is a terrible thing to waste. And so, and like you were saying, you really do have to keep your mind active and be willing to look for things that can help you on a personal note. And we're in a world now that has so much information. The YouTube is just loaded with things. And just like you were saying too, even on Build Your Best Life, you're giving out free content, free help. So why wouldn't you take advantage of that? And you have, like you say, people from all aspects of life, and that's followed a particular method, and they have done the journey work, and now they're able to, you know, go back and share with other people. And isn't that amazing that sometimes we could just simply look and learn from someone else? And that may be one reason that I can exceed, or maybe a reason that I'm looking at their life that I don't have to go down that same road, because I can learn from what they did or did not do, and that would, you know, better help me. So as they always say, you don't always have to have a bought lesson. Sometimes some of those that's been taught is a good way for you to, you know, for you to progress and to learn things. And, you know, even with you saying about working those word puzzles, I started buying me one, Deborah, because of you working that. But we're learning from each other, and that's a great thing as well. So, but this has been such a great conversation about us never saying never, and never giving up on the opportunity to be learners, continuous learners, and also that education can come in many different forms: books by other people, YouTube, and all those other places that we need to look at the information that we need, and be willing to, like you said, make yourself marketable. Make yourself where if you're on a job, you're expendable, that they don't want to see you go. So all of those are great tips that I pray that someone will be listening and will share that with, even if that person is not on. Just be willing to share these great free tips that you are constantly given, you know, every week. But as we get ready to close, Deborah, is there anything, last minute thing that you would like to add for our listening our listening audience or those that are on tonight?
Well, Carol and I get together with these coffee chats just to have fun and talk about some great information, something that we've been thinking about. We say, hey, that's a good thing we can just chat about,
Absolutely.
that but we were on a roll tonight, so I apologize that I didn't get a chance to say hello, Peggy.
Oh, well, who's on?
Thanks for tuning in. But we were on a roll. But I appreciate y'all jumping on. But yes, please, this was never say never, and people give up on themselves. If you give up on yourself, then what can you expect from other people?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But don't. There is so much in the world. And like I say, there are so many people, especially you young men, there are so many people that expect you to do wrong, make the wrong paths and turns in life. You have so much potential.
Mm-hmm.
For one, I got your back. I am for you. Like I say, build your best life. It's our business. And that's not a slogan, that's a commitment, because I'm here for you.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if I got a headache, if I don't feel well, I'm up, I'm at it, because I am committed to assist all our young people. My platform is for young men, because I have just seen so much where everybody can just find fault with our young men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot more platforms and organizations to assist our young ladies. Mm-hmm. And I am the mother of 3 sons, adult sons, and a daughter. So I've been there, I've done that. And so I do think that I have some attributes that will help you. And I have the passion to do that. And as long as I have God and that passion and the purpose that He has for my life, I know this is where I'm supposed to be to help, if it's just one person. So that's why I'm here. But your education is important. And you young men that are, you get these sports contracts, and you think I've made it, I'm going from rags to riches. Please, please, please still get your college degree. Please get some type of certification. Please. Frugal with your money. Don't spend it all. But while spending, you should all have an agent and a financial advisor. Listen to them.
Listen.
They are not there to harm you. They're going to charge you a fee, but that's okay. You can afford it, or they wouldn't charge you that. But you need to listen, because it's important that you don't just go out there and just waste money and sit behind your financial advisor's back and buy things they don't even know you purchased them. You're not even knowing your flow of your money or whatever. You have taxes that you have to pay.
Right.
Please, young people, listen. Please. So it's important. And even if you have a financial advisor or agent, you still should know about your business. If somebody call you up and say, well, where you bank? Oh, I had to call mine, but why you don't know where you bank? Can you get me a card? I lost my card. Why you can't call the bank and get your own card? Y'all need to step it up. That's why I'm teaching basic principles. You got to get it together, fellas. I love y'all. Y'all got to get it together.
Yes.
We need y'all to lead these homes for these young ladies. We got all these young ladies that need some fine young men. Y'all got to step it up.
Got to step it up. Yes. You're supposed to be the leaders, right?
Right. So that's all I got to say today. But, I'm just being real.
I love it, because you are real. And you have great information, like you said, in your book that is just a continuous read, because I love it, because it's practical. It's very practical. And so we need to have more practical conversations, like you said, with our young men. And that's your heart and that's your passion. So, but this has been great conversation, Deborah. Like you said, we didn't see who was in the chat, but I'm always excited to come and let's just have some little girlfriend time and talk about how we can better assist our young people. So thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for everybody that's on, please share this because I think this was some good information. So please share, share, share. Go out on my website. The book is there, Build Your Best Life. You can get your autographed copy. And you won't regret it. And it makes a good graduation gift, Father's Day gift.
Right.
So you need to go out there and get your autographed copy. And listen, everybody, please share, share, share. Saturday beginning at 10 a.m.
Wow, that's going to be good.
Standard Time. I cannot wait for my second annual Boys and Men's Conference. We have 5 powerful, dynamic, empowered speakers that are coming before you. We have Vito Patrick from the Bahamas, Becoming a Man. We have Bishop John Guns, Jacksonville, Florida, the keys to building a better life, your best life. We have Santana Johnson, how your money matters. And he's going to be at 12 p.m. He's from Jacksonville, Florida. At 1 p.m., we're going to have Coach Ricardo Miller, Live Life Effectively. And closing us out, and of course, Coach Miller's from Dallas, Texas, and the Bahamas. And closing us out is Pastor Adrian McConnell from Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
2 p.m. Max your potential. 5 ways to max your potential. And we're going to have some entertainment for you as well. So you don't want to miss this. Please tune in. And we will be on Facebook, on my Build Your Best Life page on Facebook, as well as my personal Deborah Smith Facebook page and YouTube, Build Your Best Life. So there are ways for you to view us. So we will look for you Saturday morning, bright and early. You don't want to miss this, I'm telling you.
That's going to be great. I can tell. Those are dynamic speakers.
Yes, I can't wait. So until then, as you travel on your road to being a better you, you will run into distractions, pitfalls, rough terrain, and detours. Don't let any of those negative aspects of your journey stop you. Though they may slow you down, keep going to be the best you so that you can build your best life. Thank you. Be blessed. And I'll see you Saturday.
All
Bye,
right.
girlfriend.
Bye-bye. Talk to you later.
All righty.